Jack Weatherford opens the conversation by delving into the early life of Genghis Khan, born as Temüjin around 116 His childhood was marked by extreme hardship, abandonment, and survival against the brutal realities of the Mongolian steppe. Temüjin's father, Yesuke, was a minor tribal leader who was killed when Temüjin was young, leaving the family destitute and vulnerable. His mother, Hoylun, played a crucial role in keeping the family alive, digging roots and foraging through harsh winters to feed her children. This early experience of betrayal and abandonment by his own clan deeply shaped Temüjin's worldview, particularly his skepticism toward kinship ties and the traditional Mongol tribal loyalties. The story of Temüjin's conception itself is dramatic and symbolic of the violent and chaotic world he was born into. His mother was kidnapped by Yesuke's brothers after her husband was chased away, a traumatic event that reverberated throughout Temüjin's life and the Mongol Empire's history. This origin story, preserved in the secret history of the Mongols, sets the tone for a life defined by struggle, resilience, and the forging of a new order from the chaos of tribal warfare. The Mongolian steppe during Temüjin's youth was a place of constant tribal warfare, raiding, and kidnapping, especially of women, which was a primary cause of conflict. The Mongols were pastoral nomads who depended heavily on raiding to acquire goods they could not produce themselves, such as metalwork and textiles. This endemic violence created a fractured society where loyalty was fragile and survival was paramount. Temüjin's family was an outcast clan, often excluded from alliances and support, which forced him to develop a new vision of loyalty and governance. This environment of violence and instability also explains many of Temüjin's later reforms, including outlawing the kidnapping and sale of women, which was revolutionary for the time. His personal experiences with the kidnapping of his mother and later his wife, Berthe, deeply influenced his policies. The constant threat of raids and betrayals shaped his military and political strategies, emphasizing loyalty based on merit and personal allegiance rather than blood ties alone. One of the most significant relationships in Temüjin's life was with Jamuka, his childhood friend, and Anda, a bond stronger than friendship, akin to sworn brotherhood. They grew up together, swearing loyalty to each other through symbolic exchanges of knucklebones and arrows. However, their paths diverged as they matured, with Jamuka becoming more rigid and militant, while Temüjin developed a more pragmatic and inclusive approach to leadership. Their relationship encapsulates the complex nature of loyalty and power in Mongol society. Despite their eventual rivalry and Jamuka's rebellion, neither directly harmed the other, and their bond remained a defining influence on Temüjin's understanding of trust and betrayal. Jamuka's eventual death, ordered by Temüjin but carried out without shedding blood, reflects the harsh realities of Mongol politics and the necessity of ruthless decisions for the survival of the empire. Weatherford highlights the secret history of the Mongols as the foundational document for understanding Genghis Khan's life and the early Mongol Empire. Written shortly after Temüjin's death, it is a unique blend of myth, genealogy, and intimate biography, offering unparalleled insight into Mongol culture and politics. The text was kept secret for centuries, only rediscovered in the 19th century in a Chinese manuscript that recorded Mongolian sounds using Chinese characters. The secret history is invaluable because it was compiled by someone close to Temüjin's inner circle, providing detailed accounts of personal relationships, military campaigns, and cultural practices. It reveals the Mongols' worldview, their reverence for nature, and their complex social structures. Weatherford emphasizes that history lives not just in books, but in the memory and culture of the Mongolian people, whose oral traditions and connection to the land continue to preserve the spirit of Genghis Khan. The vast, open Mongolian steppe is central to understanding the Mongol way of life and military success. Weatherford describes the steppe as an ocean of grass where visibility extends for miles, with fresh, cold winds sweeping across the land. The Mongols' intimate relationship with their environment, especially their horses, was fundamental. From a young age, Mongol children learned to ride, shoot arrows, and lasso while standing on horseback, developing skills that would later translate into unparalleled military prowess. Horses were not just animals, but extensions of the Mongol identity. The bond between rider and horse was profound, with horses recognized individually by their color, age, and temperament. Mongols treated their horses with respect, using minimal and humane methods of training and discipline. This deep connection enabled the Mongol army to move swiftly and strike with devastating precision, making mounted archery the deadliest weapon of its time. Genghis Khan's military genius lay not only in the individual skills of his warriors, but in his revolutionary organization and tactics. He structured his army using a decimal system, units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, allowing for flexible and efficient command. Loyalty was paramount. Soldiers trusted their leaders and comrades implicitly, knowing no one would be left behind. Each soldier was self-sufficient, carrying their own supplies, including needle and thread for repairs, and rotating among 5 horses to maintain speed and endurance. Tactically, the Mongols excelled in mobility, communication, and psychological warfare. They employed feigned retreats to lure enemies into ambushes, used the Parthian shot to fire arrows while retreating, and exploited the element of surprise by attacking from unexpected directions. Their ability to adapt and incorporate new technologies, such as siege engines and gunpowder weapons, further enhanced their effectiveness. Weatherford contrasts this with modern military failures, noting that the Mongols' strategy of controlling the countryside before besieging cities was far more effective than many contemporary approaches. One of the most remarkable aspects of Genghis Khan's rule was his policy of religious freedom, unprecedented in the medieval world. Unlike many conquerors who imposed their own faiths, Genghis Khan allowed individuals to choose and practice their religion freely, protecting religious institutions from taxation and interference. This policy was pragmatic, aimed at stabilizing his vast and diverse empire by preventing religious conflict and winning the loyalty of minority groups. Genghis Khan himself was a shamanistic animist, worshipping the eternal blue sky and the spirits of nature, but he showed genuine curiosity and respect for other religions. He organized public debates among religious leaders and sought to understand different beliefs without imposing his own. This tolerance extended to legal protections for envoys and merchants, fostering a climate of stability and cooperation that facilitated trade and cultural exchange across Eurasia. The Mongol Empire's unification of vast territories created the largest contiguous land empire in history, revitalizing and securing the Silk Road trade routes. Weatherford explains how Genghis Khan elevated the status of merchants, protected their caravans, and established a network of relay stations providing fresh horses and supplies. This infrastructure enabled unprecedented movement of goods, people, and ideas across Asia and into Europe. Beyond material trade, the Mongol Empire became a conduit for the exchange of technologies, scientific knowledge, religious ideas, and cultural practices. Innovations such as printing, gunpowder, and advanced metallurgy spread rapidly under Mongol rule. The empire's cosmopolitan nature encouraged the mingling of diverse peoples, fostering a dynamic environment of intellectual and technological growth that shaped the development of the modern world. Weatherford discusses the reign of Kublai Khan, Genghis Khan's grandson, who completed the conquest of China and established the Yuan dynasty. Unlike his grandfather, Kublai was more sedentary and administrative, embracing Chinese culture and governance while maintaining Mongol supremacy. His campaigns against the Southern Song dynasty involved adapting Mongol military tactics to new environments, including the use of naval forces and siege technologies. Kublai's attempts to invade Japan, however, ended in failure due to logistical challenges, unfamiliarity with naval warfare, and natural disasters such as typhoons. Despite these setbacks, Kublai's reign marked a significant moment in world history, uniting much of China under Mongol rule and facilitating further cultural and economic integration. Weatherford highlights the complexities of Kublai's rule, balancing Mongol traditions with the demands of governing a vast, diverse empire. The succession after Genghis Khan's death was fraught with tension, reflecting the challenges of maintaining unity in such a vast empire. While Genghis Khan nominated his sons and sought consensus, rivalries and power struggles persisted. His daughters and wives played crucial roles in governance, often acting as regents and administrators, demonstrating the significant influence of women in Mongol politics. Over time, the empire fragmented into khanates, each ruled by different branches of Genghis Khan's descendants. The Yuan dynasty in China eventually fell in 1368, with the Mongols retreating to the steppe. Other khanates weakened due to internal strife, external pressures, and the devastating impact of the Black Death. Despite its decline, the Mongol Empire left a lasting imprint on Eurasian history, influencing political structures, trade networks, and cultural exchanges for centuries. Throughout the conversation, Weatherford reflects on the brutal realities of war and the moral complexities of historical judgment. He draws parallels between the Mongol conquests and modern warfare, emphasizing that mass violence and suffering are recurring themes in human history. He challenges simplistic narratives that demonize historical figures like Genghis Khan while excusing contemporary atrocities, urging a more nuanced understanding of the causes and consequences of conflict.